Now, let us discuss the characteristics of the three different types of convergent margins. When two oceanic plates converge together, the older and denser one, which is moving at a faster rate, it generally goes down. Though it is going down into the mantle, its rheological character, that is its physical property as a rigid material, continues up to a certain depth, around 700 kilometers depth. Up to this depth, the mantle resists the downward movement, and this resistance causes the development of seismic foci within the rigid lithospheric plate that is going down. At ocean-ocean convergent margins, a series of structures develop. On the ocean going plate, immediately before the zone of subduction, due to the horizontal compression, a small bulge forms. Then there develops a deep oceanic trench along which the plate is subducting. The oceanic trench has a gentler oceanward slope and a steeper slope on the other side. The sediments deposited in the trench, like the Marianas Trench, the deepest point on the earth's surface in the Philippines, the sediments deposited in this trench are continuously being compressed and folded and thrusted. The sedimentary column that develops in this region is known as the accretionary prism or subduction complex by various authors. The accretionary prism does not always develop in all subduction zones, however. Further away from the trench, we have the zone of island arc. The island arc is a series of a chain of volcanoes, a chain of volcanic islands, where the partial melting of the downgoing plate and the partial melting of the mantle wedge trapped between the overriding plate and the subducting plate causes lava to generate and extrude on the outer surface, forming volcanic islands. The Japanese islands is actually a chain of such volcanoes and represents an island arc. Further, on the other side of the island arc, there is again some spreading apart because of the rising up of the magma from below, and this rising magma in a process similar to the one active at divergent plate margins causes the rifting of the overlying crust, oceanic crust, that creates a thin ocean floor and creates a marginal sea or marginal basin. The Japan Sea between the Japanese islands and the Asian mainland is such a marginal basin. Beyond the marginal basin, in some subduction zones, there may be a third arc or remnant arc, which represents the split apart other half of an island arc, along the axis of which there have been secondary divergence. The second type of convergent margin, where an oceanic plate and a continental plate come together, can be exemplified by the eastern margin of the Pacific Ocean, where the Nazca plate goes down below the South American plate, forming the trench on the ocean floor known as the Peru-Chile Trench. The chain of volcanic mountains in this case forms on the overriding continental plate. In this specific example, they are represented by the Andes mountains along the western coast of South America. Though the evolution of the Andes mountain chains is much more complex than a simple subduction or convergence related, let us suffice to say that the subduction and partial melting of the Nazca plate below the South American plate has contributed a lot to the chain of volcanoes along the Andes, like the Popocatépetl. Along such subduction zones, the zone of seismicity is also represented as a zone of deep focus earthquakes. The convergent plate margins, especially around the Pacific Ocean, is also represented by a chain of volcanoes through which a particular type of volcanic rocks, the intermediate andesite, forms. So, this line along which the andesite volcanism is more or less restricted is known as the andesite line. The chain of volcanoes developed along the Pacific Ocean is hence called the circum-Pacific belt and the ring of fire, because there are a large number of volcanoes distributed along this zone. The third category, where two continental plates come together, as we have said, is best exemplified by the Himalayan region. When the Indian plate came close to the Eurasian plate about 45 million years ago and collided to start the beginning of the formation of the Himalayan mountain chain, there were several thrust faults that gradually developed one after another. Along the collisional zones, continental collisional zones indicating plate boundaries, in all such zones a series of thrusts can be found which develop successively in response to the directed compressive stress. In the Himalayas, these are exemplified by the main central thrust, the main boundary fault and the main frontal thrust. The collisional zones between two continents is also evidenced by several earthquake foci, which are generally intermediate to shallow focus earthquake. Earthquake zones, earthquake foci are also recorded from divergent plate boundaries. However, since the earthquakes are results of movement along faults which are brittle fractures, the depth to which the earthquake foci can be reached in divergent plate margins is rather shallow, because the lithosphere behaves as a ductile material below this depth. Only shallow focus earthquakes related to normal faults are found along divergent plate boundaries. Along convergent plate boundaries, the situation is more complicated, though the faults that develop there are thrust faults, but there may be extension along the Benioff zone, the downgoing plate. The Wadathe-Benioff zone related to ocean convergent boundaries show that the seismic foci can be traced up to great depths of about 670 to 700 kilometers. Within the downgoing slab, however, the stress related strain may be of two kinds. At the points in the shallower parts where the plate starts subducting, the weight of the downgoing slab due to the gravitational attraction causes a slab parallel extension, but near the deep ends where the mantle is resisting the subduction of the slab, there is a layer parallel compressive stress acting on it. Accordingly, the fault plane solutions that are done, they show normal or thrust movements. The convergent plate margins in different parts of the earth are sites of intense volcanism. However, not all volcanoes on the earth are restricted to the convergent plate margins. The outpouring of lava in the Hawaii island is not along any plate margin. The volcanic eruption in Hawaii is related to the hot spot that Jason Morgan first suggested were present. The hot spots are surface or near surface expressions of a column of heat, hot material coming up from near the core mantle boundary. The D double prime layer that is situated at a depth of around 2600 to 2700 kilometers below the earth's surface, close to the core mantle boundary at 2900 kilometers. These sources of heat spread only over a few hundred square kilometers of area are known as hot plumes or mantle plumes or deep mantle plumes. As they rise up, they hit the asthenosphere. The asthenosphere in turn heats up the lithosphere and causes a bulge on the lithosphere. This results in spreading out of the lithosphere from the center of the mantle plume, causing the development of a hot spot and outpouring of lava. The outpouring of hot spot lava that has a different composition from the volcanic rocks that form along subducted boundaries. At subduction zones, the lava that pours out is mostly andesitic, intermediate to andesitic, while the lavas, volcanic rocks that form at hot spots are generally thollitic in composition. The oceanic islands or oceanic island basalts are relatively rich in magnesium and iron and poorer in silica than the basaltic rocks or andesitic rocks found at the subduction zones. The movement of the plates is believed to be controlled by the mantle forces. There is a distinct difference in mineralogy and chemical composition of the rocks, the volcanic rocks formed at island arc volcanoes and at the oceanic island volcanoes. The oceanic island volcanoes, because it forms directly from the partial melting and differentiation from the mantle, has a different composition, more rich in magnesium and iron and poorer in silica than the intermediate andesitic rocks found in the circum-Pacific island arc volcano. The hot spots have another role to play in understanding the dynamics of plate motion. Taking the Hawaiian example again, it has been found that possibly the same hot spot or deep mantle plume was responsible for all the mountains that occur along a chain running from the Emperor Sea Mount in the north right up to the present day Hawaii island. It is believed that the Pacific plate was moving northward over the Hawaiian hot spot. When the Emperor Sea Mount was above this hot spot, there was volcanism, and then the plate moved north, causing another volcanic mountain which again moved northwards, thus creating a chain of volcanic mountains, most of which are now under the sea. Only the Hawaiian mountain chain and the one immediately to the north of it rising above the mean sea level. The chain of Emperor Sea Mount to Hawaii, the Emperor Sea Mount to Hawaii volcanic mountain chain thus gives us an idea about the movement of the Pacific plate over a hot spot. It was the suggestion of W. J. Morgan that these hot spots, which are surface expressions of deep mantle plumes, remain fixed within the mantle with respect to the moving lithosphere. However, more recent findings indicate that the idea of fixed hot spots may not be entirely true, though that is a point not to be discussed here. Thus, we see that along convergent plate margins, along all three of them, there may be volcanism, there will be a zone of seismicity. Almost 85% of the Earth's seismic belts are situated along the circum-Pacific belt. Among the rest, they are distributed along mid-oceanic ridges and transform plate boundaries. Along the circum-Pacific belt, volcanism is also very predominant, producing a typical type of volcanic rocks, the intermediate andesites. These zones, the ocean convergent boundaries, are also sites of earthquake and volcanism, and together with that the other convergent boundaries like the continent ocean boundaries and the continent collision zones are regions of volcanism and earthquakes. The boundaries between the lithospheric plates, divergent and convergent boundaries, they, as we have discussed, are sites of metallogeny, sites of earthquake, sites of volcanism. These regions are also characterized by large scale tectonism, the divergent margins being characterized by normal faulting and the convergent margins being characterized by thrust faulting and folding. Along the divergent boundaries, both along the ocean floor and on continents, there are thinning of the crust and occasional formation of new lithosphere. Along the convergent plate margins, there is destruction of the pre-existing lithosphere, formation of volcanoes and earthquake belts. As we come to the close of this episode, let us summarize what we have learned till date. We have seen that the earth surface being subdivided into a number of fragments of rigid outer material known as the lithosphere moves about on the more viscous asthenosphere, which causes the lubricated movement of the upper lithospheric fragments. We have seen how there are three different types of plate boundaries. We have seen how the divergent plate margins form where the underlying magma comes up and the magma from the underlying mantle comes up and causes the formation of new lithosphere, drifting apart of the lithosphere from the divergent boundary, formation of alternate symmetrically disposed positive and negative magnetic anomaly stripes. We have seen how at convergent boundaries seismic belts and belts of volcanism occur, a specific type of volcanism. We have seen how the topography of the ocean floor changes at divergent plate margins of different spreading rates and at convergent plate margins. We have seen that the lowest points on the earth surface are found at the oceanic trenches along subduction zones. We have found that volcanic island chains form in case of ocean convergent boundaries, and a chain of volcanoes form on the continent where a oceanic plate subducts below a continental plate. Along continent collision zones or zones of convergence, we find belts of earthquakes but no volcanism. So, in our next episode we will be discussing transform faults and some other general features associated with plate boundaries. Thank you.